Hey everyone, Uri here, and today I'll be looking at Ulgrax Mythic, now with an official guide. So these videos will be different than my beta videos. This will be less edited, I'll go into more details, and this will be just raw footage from my guild kills POVs. Now a bit of a disclaimer about video guides is they may not hold up as good as written guides, because whenever there is a fundamental change to a boss, such as maybe removing a mechanic, maybe they change timers. This could alter the strat that you use for a boss. So what I'll do is I'll keep a TLDR written guide on my Discord for each boss respective channel. So if you want to keep up to date with those, just make sure you hop on my Discord and have a look at those. I will aim to add tips and tricks at the end of each video, such as can you immune something on this fight? Can you blink over stuff? Is there any class or spec that just makes this fight easier? So let's start off with Ulgrax. This is a 2 tank, 5 healers, 13 DPS encounter. Why do you add a 5th healer randomly to the first boss? Well, the enrage of Ulgrax is pretty late into the fight and there's decent amount of AoE damage that he does in main phases and intermissions. So just 5 healer for safety, cause why not? When you start off the encounter, what you want to do is drag the boss to the edge. And why you want to do this is because then the webs that he spawns around him are more neatly stacked, and some of them kind of just fall off the platform or just don't spawn at all. So as you can see, all the webs here are just neatly stacked into this semi-circle, semi-sphere or whatever, and that just makes the people who get targeted by digestive acid that much easier to clear. So as I mentioned, digestive acid, this is what clears the webs. So this is just a green circle around people. You just want to position around the webs, and any web caught within them or within the circles will just disappear. It is very, very, very important that you clear the path in between the boss and your soak spot. Your soak spot will always be towards the middle of the room, so make sure that path is clear because you don't want the people who are soaking to just get randomly dragged into a web. And besides that, you just want to clear as many webs as possible. Now you want to split your raid into two, because each time someone soaks, they get a vulnerability debuff for the next minute, which is pretty much the entire main phase. So that means you cannot soak twice in a row. And you want to make sure that there's at least like half the raid in each soak, because the more people are in a soak, the less damage that it does, and the less strength that the pull-in has. It is pretty strong, so make sure you have a speed totem or just a wind rush totem or any kind of speed up like roar for each one of them. And downgrade stuff, downgrade cast, downgrade melee uptime, you will get eaten. Only mages I believe can really do that because they just blink backwards. So the two soaks have some different timings to them. The first one is a lot more lenient on the timing. The second one is a lot more tighter. Now, in this main phase 1 that we had, we somehow managed to skip the second soak. I don't know how, maybe we pushed the boss to a certain percentage or something like that, but he just didn't cast it. However, there's 2 soaks in each phase, and I'll show you the timing on the next one. Now before the intermission starts, there's one more important thing that you need to pay attention to. He'll jump to the middle, as you can see here, and he will do a slight knockback outwards. So you want to pay attention around you and where you're going to get knocked to, because you don't want to get knocked into a web. Like this happened to one of our guys here, right? He just got knocked into a web here, just got webbed. That's fine, it's not the end of the world, you can just DPS them down. If it's during a main phase, you can place a green circle on top of them, that also works. Now the bad thing about the webs is they have a splash effect. So this is the web here, the yellow, and anyone within like the kind of purple circle-ish will also get webbed without stepping into it. I'll show you later into the fight because this kind of happened to one of our guys. So whenever someone walks into a web, anyone around them will also get webbed. So you don't want to do that to your friends, right? You want to pay attention to the knocks, you want to pay attention to the main phases. So when the intermission starts, he's gonna jump into his portals, and then he's just gonna do charges through the room. He does 4 of those before he reappears again. Now there is a way to know where exactly the boss will spawn. As you can see, those cocoon kind of things that spawn, those are the elves in the intermission that will hatch after a certain period of time. So you see those. They will spawn on one side of the platform. As you can see, they're all spawning here, which means the boss will always spawn directly opposite of them. This is how you know every single time where he's gonna reappear after he does his 4 charges. What you wanna do is, and you're gonna see me mark kind of the opposite side now, is we're all gonna go there while dodging the charges, of course. We're all gonna sit here, kind of AFK, let the ads hatch, let them come to us. If you're a melee especially, don't go out in DPS because your tanks will be here waiting for the ads. If you go out, you're gonna pick a backdrop, you're gonna die. Now the charges, very important to dodge them. As you can see, you get hit once, you just die. They also apply a bit of a dot damage every time he just, nukes his head into the charge or into the second portal. So you just kind of have to out-heal this, use defensives, shouts, or whatever. Since this is a bit chaotic, there's a lot of ads. You have to dodge the portals. But yeah, anyways, he reappears here. Make sure you dodge his blue circle, otherwise you probably die. And then you just finish off the ads. Now, the bodies drop here. That's why we do the ad killing next to him. Whenever you pick up a body of an ad, you get a dot that ticks on you. You want to hold the ad for a short amount of time as possible. And you also want to feed him as fast as possible, because he's just going to keep casting this AoE that just ramps up, eventually killing you if you're not fast enough. Whenever he spawns, as you can see, he did spawn webs around him as well. Now those are pretty annoying, because then you have to kind of pick an ad, zigzag your way towards him, make sure you don't get webbed. So how do you deal with this? You just have like your hunter or your paladin or your rogue, whatever, just immune, go around, clear them up, and that's just a no-brainer. You just go and feed him. And then you kind of rinse and repeat the main phase again after you're done. You do the soaks towards the middle, you dodge webs, you clear webs, and that's it. Let me show you the timings of the soaks. As you can see, for the first one, the webs spawn, digestive acids is gonna spawn, people are gonna clear the webs, and then you have a lot of time until the next mechanic happens, which is the soak. So group 1 has it pretty easy. However, when you get to the second soak, you see the web spawn here, right? You get the digestive acid to spawn. People position in the spots, clear webs in between the boss and the soak spots. However, right before the pay attention to the acids and pay attention to when the soak is gonna appear. You have the digestive acid not even exploded yet, and the soak has spawned. So group 2 needs to be ready on their feet to, especially if they're clearing, to just run over there after their clearing is done and make sure they're in the soak. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you here is what I said about the splashing webs. Right, you can see our mage over here clearing, and then you see our paladin bubble clearing the webs. The mage wasn't moving, so he didn't step himself in the web. The paladin just cleared the one next to him that splashed and just webbed him. Now that was probably a bad call on my part, calling for an immunity clear whenever there was the digestive acid. So I'm sorry, Pegala, that one's on me, I guess. You just rinse and repeat until the boss is dead. Now let's look at who can immune the webs. So Paladin Bubble, that's for any spec. For Paladin has Spell Warding. Spell Warding also works, you just throw it on someone, that someone just runs through the webs, and they can clear it. Roll Cloak works, Hunter Turtle works, DK AMS works. I believe Icebound Fortitude from DKs also work. But then you have a lot of tools available to you, so just use those, right? Make sure you clear the webs in the intermission whenever the boss spawns, and if you need any other clears. If you missed any of the digestive acid in the main phases before soaks, you also want to clear those. Now there is a feeding macro for the intermission, that's just kind of a quality of life. It targets the boss, clicks your extraction button, so you don't have to do this all manually. I didn't do it myself, hindsight 2020, I should have, because it just makes it a lot easier. That's about this boss. It's a bit of a long fight for a first boss, not the greatest, but it's also pretty easy. Just dodge stuff, kill boss, that's it. If you have any questions, just throw them in the comments below or join my Discord, ask them there. I'll be happy to help anyone. All resources that I use, such as like my guild kill video, macros, basically everything like that will be in the description or in my Discord again. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one and have a good one.